Man, what you doing with 10 breakfast burritos? You've been coming into this prison for the last 10 days, every day with at least 10 breakfast burritos. Yesterday, you came in with 20 breakfast burritos. You gonna eat all them breakfast burritos? Uh-huh. You sure? Because look, I don't know if the captain or the shift supervisor does or doesn't need to know why you keep coming in here with so many breakfast burritos. Uh-huh. Man, we got another case coming out of Texas where an officer smuggled in burritos and now he's arrested. Man, let's get right into the story. March 18, 2026. That's right, this year. It seems like all over the United States of America, correctional officers have been getting caught smuggling in contraband. And it's not your typical contraband. You know what I mean? Narcotics. You know what I mean? Playboy magazines, right? Alcohol. Nah. The other correctional officer who I just done a video on, and I'll put a link at the end of this video, he was smuggling in chicken wings. But this correctional officer in Texas, he's smuggling in burritos. That's right. When you look at another convict and you see him digging through the trash in prison, you know he's looking for something. Well, it could be he's looking for nothing, because they do got a lot of vagabonds in prison. But anyway, this dude, he was putting the burritos in the trash cans. Let me tell you all about this story. Yeah, you see his picture right there. All right. Coming from, I'd like to give the news source their credit, 7 News out of Texas. Is this out of New York, man? How can New York be covering Texas prisons when New York got enough problems of their own? They can't even pick the trash up in the city. Henderson, Texas. A Texas Department of Criminal Justice correctional officer was jailed after officials said he smuggled tobacco into the prison using burritos. 66-year-old, this dude was 66 years old, y'all. 66-year-old James Byron Thibodeau of Henderson. You see him right here. Man, that's what I'm saying. They don't pay teachers enough and they don't pay correctional officers enough. If you think teachers, and I'm not talking about professors in universities, they overpaid. I'm talking about teachers at grade school level and elementary level who aren't paid enough. They don't get paid enough, let's be honest. And neither do correctional officers. Correctional officers put their lives on the line, because they working around some of the worst of the worst. I was in prison. They are the worst of the worst. But this dude's 66 years old. And obviously, he might not have enough money for his mortgage. So either that or he's a friendly Bob. I've seen dudes and officers who they just friendly. And let me tell you something. If an inmate comes up to you and says, look, say, bro, my mama, my wife, my dad, they're going to put $50 on your Cash App if you sneak me in 2 burritos. He's like, just burritos? They're like, man, can you put something inside the burritos? He's like, man, I ain't putting in no there narcotics. And I definitely not putting in the fentanyl inside them burritos, boy. Understand me? Nah, Cap, I ain't like that. You heard me? Look, can you just put, some Marlboro Reds or some Menthol 100s? Cools. Like the Camel. Joe Cool? Huh? You want some backer? That's what I'm saying. Sarge. You ain't saying nothing. You telling me, boy, you's gonna give me $50 if I sneak you in 2 burritos stuffed with Menthol 100s? That's what I'm saying. Tell you what, boy, I'll sneak you in 10 of them. $100 for every 4 burritos. That's $250, right? Or $225. Whatever you want, Cap. Just get me that tobacco. Because them dudes are selling tobacco. They unrolling them cools, or they selling them cools. They selling them cools for $20 a piece. Cash App. Back in the days, it was soups. Now it's Cash App, Venmo, all in prison. Henderson was released from the Rusk County Jail over the weekend on a $15,000 bond for a warrant charging him with having a prohibited substance in a correctional facility. Tobacco. Before 7 a.m. last Thursday, staff at the Bradshaw State Jail in Henderson contacted the Office of the Inspector General to report the discovery of contraband in a bathroom trash can, according to an affidavit. I've been in the visitation room in prison. They put stuff in the trash cans. They sneak it in, put it in the trash cans, and usually the person back in the day, now they don't have it. Back in the day, they used to have Polaroid cameras, and the person with the Polaroid camera, he would go around getting everything out, moving and grooving, the contraband throughout the system. And I promise you, because I've seen this happen a lot of times, the correctional officers were in on it. They'll let you get the stuff out the trash can and bring it back to the dorm. Man, it's real, man. But this dude, 66 years old. Immediately before finding the tobacco, staff told investigators they had seen Thibodeau exiting the bathroom, according to an affidavit. Thibodeau agreed to speak to investigators and admitted to dropping burritos containing tobacco into a trash can inside a prison bathroom for an inmate to retrieve. According to the affidavit, Thibodeau also admitted to receiving a payment through a cash app. Investigators arrested Thibodeau at approximately 9:30 a.m. inside the prison. Can you imagine? He was coming back to prison. He had been doing this for months. Dude's cash app was on swole. You know what I mean? McDonald's knew when he was coming when they seen him coming through the drive-thru, coming in the morning to get his coffee. Oh, there you go. It's Officer Smiley. Say, Officer Smiley, you going to get 10 of them burritos? And he's like, go ahead and make an extra 10. Dudes were dropping cash app like crazy. They said, Officer Smiley said he want an extra 10 inside them there burritos. All right, 10 more? Oh, that's a lot for the order. We still working on drive-thru. He got the 10 app. He got the cash app. This stuff is crazy. These correctional officers ain't paid enough, man. Thibodeau is charged with a third-degree felony and could face up to 20 years in prison and fine $10,000 if convicted. That $10,000, that's all the money he made on the burritos. Gone. Wiped out. Cash app. Clean. Man, he better move that stuff into a Swiss bank account. You know, that's probably his best bet. 20 years? Can you imagine facing 20 years? This dude's facing a 20-piece right off the top for sneaking in breakfast burritos with tobacco. He ain't had no weed in it. He definitely ain't had no coke. He ain't had no heroin. He ain't had no fentanyl. He ain't had none of that lean and syrup. And I'm learning that there's another one called spice. He ain't had none of that. I mean, you see the picture of this good old boy, but when the temptation gets too much, you could face 20 years in prison, man. You know, and that's what Officer Thibodeau's, facing, man. East Texas, man. And you can't be accepting that cash app payment. If you're a correctional officer, share in the comments your experience, man. Or you're a correctional officer who got tempted and you took that cash app. I know a dude who I was in jail with. He went into the dormitory. I'll tell a story later. He's called Two Shank Shorty. At least that's what he referred to himself as. He wasn't the real Two Shank Shorty. He just heard that there was a real dude named Two Shank Shorty. And he thought if he called himself Two Shank Shorty, he can intimidate people. But he talked a little lips like this. Say, bruh, look here, you heard me? You know who I am? I'm like, who are you? Two Shank Shorty, dog. Everybody know me. I'm like, you ain't no real Two Shank Shorty. Say, bro, is you playing with me? Is you playing with me, dog? Look, I got 2 soups in my back pocket. I'm like, what you doing with 2 soups in your back pocket? Say, bro, I'm going to use these to pay off the guard. I'm going to dorm 5B. I said, you going to dorm 5B? What you going in that dorm for? That's a headbuster dorm. He's like, say, bro, I'm going on the gambling table. You heard me? Look, if I pay the officer, that's a big old boy, His family ain't feeding him right. If I give him 2 soups and a Snicker bar, he going to let me go in there and get on a gambling table. I said, dude's going to whip you and the officer going to whip you. Just like Officer Thibodeau, man, with them breakfast burritos. Man, welcome to the Pen and the Shank, the most unusual and unique crime and prison channel experience on YouTube. Give me a like and subscribe and share this video. Go check out my other videos. I promise you, you'll be entertained or inspired, right? Or educated. I got all kind of stuff. Man, let's get this.